Shout out to Tom Homan for getting on these Sith Lord Democrat news stations and doing these interviews. And you guys see by the title what's going on. Things definitely get pretty crazy. And we're here to get into it and break down everything that's going on. Smash the like button, hit subscribe. Shout out to the King Squad. I hope everybody's having a great and awesome day. And shout out to Tom Homan, okay, for remaining stoic through the BS. Shout out to CBS News Network, aka Complete BS News Network. And we're here to get right into this video. Thank you everybody who donates to the channel, keeps me updated in emails. I appreciate you guys. And how was your day? Drop down below in the comments. Let's get right into the video.
We go now to Tom Homan. He will serve as Mr. Trump's border czar, and he joins us this morning from Naples, Florida. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Deportations are now at a decade high. They were at the end of 2024, nearly 300,000 people deported by the Biden administration. The incoming administration has promised the largest deportation operation in history. What's the number? What's the measure of success?
Well, let's talk about this administration, what they claim is a huge deportation number this year. Actually, if you drill into the numbers, about 80% of those numbers were actually Border Patrol arrests that the enforcement move operation of ICE process and move back across the border. They weren't internal enforcement arrests. If you look at the historic number of illegal entries the last 4 years, ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, has the lowest number of deportations in the history of the agency. So they're playing a numbers game, just like they play the numbers game and the number of people coming across the border.
Okay.
So even though they claim we got the highest number of deportations, look at those deportations, who actually made those arrests, who actually removed those people. It's not ICE.
Okay, it's still a higher number than the Trump administration, but I want to ask you, for the incoming Trump administration, what's the measure? It is not deportations at the border. You're saying you are going to measure success by people who are already internal in the country to deport. That's how you're going to measure it. And what's that figure?
Well, again, let's get the numbers straight. You say they're higher than Trump administration. It isn't about how many get deported, because Trump had illegal border crossings at a 45-year low. So of course removal is going to be lower. The number is how many were released into the United States that are now in the country illegally. Under Biden administration, we have millions of people released in the United States who have lost their hearings, and we got millions of people that are released in the United States despite a statute saying that you cannot be released in the United States without proper documentation. You shall be detained. So you can compare the numbers of deportations under Trump versus Biden, but when you consider a 45-year low in crossings, of course the number of deportations is going to be lower because we don't have that population to process and deport.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to measure success going forward. For day one, can you help us understand what the plan is? A number of industries in this country hire undocumented workers because they are cheap labor. On day one, are you going to restart raids on work sites, on construction sites?
The President Trump's been clear, as I've been clear from day one, that President is going to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats. And have you heard from your previous segments, we have a huge national security issue in this country. The southwest border has become the biggest national security vulnerability we've seen in this nation. FBI Director Wray agrees with me. We know there's people in this country who pose a national security threat. They've arrested a record number of people on the terrorist watch list, a 3,500% increase in people on the terrorist watch list being arrested at the border. We got over 2 million known gotaways. We know 2 million people crossed the border, weren't arrested, weren't vetted, weren't fingerprinted. So you got to ask yourself, why did 2 million people pay more to get away? Why didn't they pay less, turn themselves into Border Patrol, get a free airline ticket to the city of their choice, get a free hotel room, get 3 meals a day, get free medical care?
I'm not disputing that it is a hemisphere-wide crisis. We're talking about how you're going to deal with it. That's why I'm asking you, when you say criminals, does that mean you are going to go into already existing prisons at local level and deport people who are in those prisons? Are you going to go to work?
The TDS is strong with this one.
Forces. I mean, how do you know where the criminals are, I guess is the question. And if they're working at a work site, are you going to show up to surprise them?
She's not looking for answers. She's simply looking to just be combative and looking to pick apart everything he's saying. Okay, this is the reason why they lost. All right, everything is woke and they're not looking for solutions. They're really just adding to the problems. So when they see, Big Daddy Trump come in and handle business and then put people like Tom Homan in position, it's too much system, order, and structure for them. They're like, no. Give us some headlines. Give us something to complain about. Give us something to attack you guys on. That's really where she's coming from.
Well, look, we know where a lot of the criminals are. ICE they're great at this work. We know where some are, but they simply haven't been able to go arrest them because of Secretary Mayorkas' priorities. It handcuffed ICE. So we know where a lot of criminals are. They've been prevented from arresting that we're going to arrest starting day one. As far as being in jails and prisons, we would love to work in local jails, but sanctuary cities won't allow us into those jails. It's much easier to arrest a public safety threat and the safety and security of public jail than out in the street, because the officers are safer that way, the aliens safer that way, the community is safer that way. But sanctuary cities who continue to release public safety threats back in the community, to the immigrant community, it puts that community at greater risk of crime. And here's what's going to happen when we go to the community and find that person, find that criminal alien. He's probably going to be with others will have to arrest. So it's not safe for the community, not safe for the officers, not safe for anybody. Let us arrest a bad guy in the jail cell where you chose to arrest somebody and put him in a jail cell because obviously he's a public safety threat.
Okay. What you just said in there, it sounded like you were talking about collateral arrests. So you're going to target people you know are criminals, but if they happen to be living in a house where there are other undocumented people, you're going to sweep them up too. That's what I think you were just saying there. I wonder how you're going to parse out some of those collateral arrests. For example, will dreamers be protected? Donald Trump has said he wants to work with Democrats to protect them and give them status. That takes a long time in Congress. What do you do in the meantime? How do you make sure they're not caught up in a dragnet?
Look, every person ICE arrests, they do what we call a fugitive operations spreadsheet. They know exactly who they're going to arrest. They know exactly where they're probably likely to find them, and they have a lot of information on that arrest. Other people that are there that may be illegal, they'll handle by case basis.
Okay.
The concentration, I want to be clear on some public safety threats. More agents in the jails means less agents in the neighborhoods. That's why I'm pleading with sanctuary cities. Let us in the jail to arrest the bad guy. That way you're not forcing in the community. So, if you go to an immigrant community and ask them, would you rather have ICE operating in your local jails or would you want them in the community? What do you think they're going to say? They don't want bad criminal aliens in their neighborhoods either. So let us work with the jails. Let us work with law enforcement. Sanctuary cities are not safe for the immigrant community. They're not safe for our officers.
Okay, so that's like Secure Communities Act kind of action. But then where do you send people? Because some of these countries like Venezuela don't accept deportations right now. Mexico's president indicated her country might be willing to receive non-Mexican migrants who are deported. How does that work? Does the U.S. pay Mexico to then ship those people off somewhere else?
Well, first of all, we got President Trump coming in the Oval Office, and he's proven during his first administration his leadership on illegal immigration was a game changer because, for instance, El Salvador wouldn't take back MS-13 members when I was the ICE director. It took President Trump 48 hours to get El Salvador to take back their criminal aliens into their prisons. And Mexico didn't want to do the Remain in Mexico program, but President Trump was able to get Remain in Mexico established in Mexico. He was able to get Mexico put military in the southern and northern border. President Trump's a strong president. This administration has not forced these countries to take them back. And we have what we call a third safe country. We already have countries talking about taking back people from other countries. If for instance, Venezuela don't want to take their people back, there's other ways we can do it. There's other countries be willing to accept them. We're hoping that President Trump will work with Venezuela and like he did with Mexico and El Salvador and get these countries taken back. If they don't, they're still going to be deported. They're just going to be deported to a different country. We're not going to be held up on removing public safety threats in this country. We got to put the safety of the American people first. We've had too many young women murdered and raped and burned alive by members of Venezuelan gangs. They need to be a priority under this administration. They're going to be a priority starting day one, and they will be deported.
We will stay tuned for the details. Border Czar Tom.
Yeah, that is facts. Shout out to Tom Homan. He handled this extremely well. And, this is what it is, okay? Number one thing that comes to my mind when seeing this is something we covered last time. A family that is deported together stays together, because we know the Democrats are going to try to sit here and shame everybody and make everybody, feel guilty. And, oh, yeah, you guys are separating families and kids. Okay, so since when do you guys care about morality and families and kids? Second of all, it still doesn't change the fact that they're here illegally. Okay, so they still have to be deported. So I really like the fact that Tom Homan definitely still just locked in with that and restated that all over again. You know, even if these individuals, countries don't accept them back, their home countries don't accept them back, they still will be deported. They'll still be, you know, separated outside of America because they came in here illegally. And see, she was ultimately looking for, you know, cracks in his armor and in what he was saying and trying to, you know, make it seem like trying to really still paint the picture of Trump is the little mustache man, you know, hail, you know, and yeah, all that kind of stuff. U-boats. And, you know, they're trying to paint Trump as this dictator, and it's just, it doesn't work in their favor. If anybody's a dictator, it's them. Okay, and the way they do things. If you're not on their agenda, cancel culture. You're not with their agenda. Okay, let's ruin your way to make a living. Let's sue the crap out of you, and let's destroy you and your family and all this other kind of stuff. And also, let's poison your kids and turn them into Transformers. Okay, not the Michael Bay movies and not the G1 cartoon. And yeah, you know, so shout out to Tom Homan for remaining stoic and extremely knowledgeable and on his P's and Q's when it comes to handling these Democrats and really just addressing everything and being straightforward. You know, they don't want to hear this. They're anti-common sense, extremely woke, and you know, it's just what it is. Drop down below in the comments what you guys think. Okay, let me know how are you feeling about this. How did you feel about the host and Tom Homan, Margaret Brennan, I believe is her name. And yeah. And how do you feel about Trump's deportation? Do you think he's doing the right thing? Do you think this is what needs to be done? Or do you think we can keep the illegal immigrants in the country? Okay, do you think that there's not a problem with them being here? Me personally, I think that it's an extreme problem. And you can just see that with how New York is being handled, okay? And you can see that with how Biden handled them. All right, that's my personal thoughts. You know, Biden consistently showed that he put everyone else first above the American people, you know, while giving our resources away to everybody else and making our lives increasingly difficult. And yeah, so I'm thanking God that we've been unburdened by what has been from the Biden-Harris, the abomination of the Biden-Harris administration. Drop down below in the comments what you guys think. Shout out to the King Squad. I hope everybody's having a great and awesome day. You guys are awesome. And don't let anybody tell you any different. Smash that like button and hit subscribe if you're new. Thank you to everyone who donates to the channel and keeps me updated in emails. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.